Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. It's Wednesday. It means new comic books are hitting the shelves all across the world. Digitally, physically, it's New Comic Book Day. It's like the best day of the week for comic book fans. DC Comics hooked us up with their newest Rebirth trade, Hellblazer, Volume 1, The Poison Truth. It includes issues 1 through 6, plus the Hellblazer Rebirth issue, written by Simon Oliver, featuring art by Moritat, Guerra, and Jose Marzan Jr. Basically, this is what Rebirth is about. Kind of taking the old and the new, mixing it all together for this whole new direction. In this case, it's getting Hellblazer, John Constantine, back to basics, which is England. I mean, this is what Constantine's about. He's an English superhero. They probably should be in England. So the previous volume of Constantine was absolutely fantastic. This one has a lot to live up to when comparing the two. So this issue retails for about $16.99, which is a pretty decent price for 1 through 6 plus the Rebirth issue. You're saving like a couple bucks. You're getting like an issue or so for free. So it's worth it in that department. The story, the Rebirth story, basically has him going back to England, explains how he does that. The rest of the story is about Dejin, Swamp Thing is in there, and kind of getting back to the basics for John Constantine. Constantine, for those who don't know the character, he's a dick, he's selfish, he's arrogant, he's kind of a con man. Best way of putting it, he's not really supposed to be a very likable character, and this plays off of that really well and does a good job of reminding him and us, the reader, that this is the case. The story itself is pretty decent. It kind of gets back to just like the fighting demon sort of story, and not so much like an introspective about him, kind of like the last volume was. This one is just more straight up. There's a mystery, he's going to go solve it, involves magic. Best way of describing it, like it is a straightforward story. There's not much else there. There's a bunch of stuff going on with Swamp Thing, which is interesting and kind of builds out. Overall, though, what's I think really kind of struck me this volume compared to the last one is this one plays off the Constantine Hellblazer history a lot more than the previous volume. If you were a reader of the Vertigo series, if you read the last volume, if you have seen his various guest appearances, you'll probably enjoy this a bit more than maybe a new reader, but it is still very new reader friendly, which is great. Simon Oliver does a great job of kind of mixing the old and the new, so there's a lot there for longtime readers that pays off, which is pretty damn cool if you ask me. The story itself, it's entertaining. It's, straight up magic, mystical type stuff. If that's your thing, you'll probably enjoy this. If that's not your thing, you're definitely not going to enjoy this. For fans of Hellblazer, John Constantine, I think they'll enjoy it. I'm not sure they'll necessarily be, knocked out of the park by it, but it's definitely an entertaining read. So the only thing I really will knock it for is the art. Moritat's art, I generally like what he does. It's kind of hit and miss for me. So there's art like this, which I don't think quite pays off super well. And it's almost like the art, this is kind of the same artist. To me, it feels like a little bit different. His art isn't super consistent, which I think bothers me. Like, this is Moritat, but it's not, it just looks a little bit different to me. So there's that, and then eventually we get a new artist, which is a totally different style to kind of finish off the arc, and that kind of I won't say it irritates me, but it's very noticeable and somewhat jarring, especially since the styles are two totally different styles. So, if that bugs you, it's going to bug you here. As far as extras, it's a first volume trade for one of the Rebirth titles. We get covers in between, but there's also cool black and white versions of the covers. And then in the back we have a variant cover gallery, which is pretty solid. There's some cool variants in there. So overall, it's pretty standard as far as what you get. I love some of these. I love this one. This is feels like a nice throwback to original Vertigo Hellblazer stuff. So it's pretty standard on what you get as far as extras in the comic. You get a whole bunch of issues, the Rebirth issue, some variants, and that's about it. Not much else, not sketches, stuff like that. Which is fine, because, as I said, it's a standard first volume for Rebirth. But overall, I give this one a pretty good rating. I've already said, if you're into magic, that mystical stories, you're probably going to like this. If you like John Constantine the character, you'll probably like this. If you're new to John Constantine, maybe you'll like this. From there, it gets a little bit iffy. Hardcore readers for John Constantine, I think there's going to be some things you like, some things you hate. But overall, I mean, Simon Oliver's, I think, doing a nice mix of old and new when putting together this new volume. You can go get this comic book on comic book shelves today. Go support your local comic book shop. They are very vital for the comic community, and we're all about the comic community here. If you don't know if you have a local comic book shop near you, then we have a link beneath here that you can put in your zip code, address, and it'll go find a local shop that you should go check out. If you don't have a local comic book shop, this is hitting bookstores next week, so you can go and find it there. We do have 2 links beneath this video. There's one for Things from Another World, where you can order it online, or you can get it on Amazon as well. They're 2 affiliate links, so we do get like a small percentage of the purchase. By doing so, you help support our site. Much appreciated for doing that. If you're into comics, DC Comics, Hellblazer, whatever, you should go check us out at graphicpolicy.com. You can go subscribe to us through the RSS feed, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you, DC Comics, for the hookup of the trade. And keep reading those comics, and more importantly, keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.